Hey everyone, Ashok Vishwakarma this side. I'm Ashok. I work as a principal architect at Naukri, and I happens to be a GD for web technologies as well. And please welcome my co-presenter Brizraz. Let me get you a little bit brief idea what PWA is. And I really like graphs. So this is a specifically very typical graph between capability and reach. So what a capability means is that what sort of things a platform provide you to do on a certain application or maybe certain app environment. And similarly, the reach is that how easy is for people to use that particular application or that particular platform. That's where these two axes pretty much defined. And so if we see native apps, they somehow come on this particular place where their capabilities is completely vast, but their reach is very limited because then the user needed to be on that particular platform to actually work with your application. Similarly, if you have an iOS app and the Android user will not able to use it because you don't have that app available on Android platform. And similarly, you have to build these apps on all those available platforms just to cater those specific audience. So reach is a specific problem when we're dealing with these native apps. And another way, we have web apps which have vast majority of reach, but we don't have that much capability here because web is very limited due to security and other aspects. So we needed something in the between to actually minimize this gap as much as possible. And that's where we have the PWA. What PWA provides you, we call it the app pillars. And what these app pillars are, specifically, they are capable. What capable means, they can get hooked to you notifications, push notifications, background sync, uh, uh, web storage, and all those specific capabilities. Like, you can develop a video chat using WebRTC or maybe other real-time protocols using Web today. And the second thing, and the second pillar, which I'll say is reliability. So what a reliable app means, that all your data which you're working with is pretty much safe and secure. You can guarantee that certain smoothness and certain experience you will get each time you open or maybe use that app. And the third thing, which I call these app pillars, is installability. So any specific app can be installed on your specific device, and you can just pretty much use them without going to those specific URLs and those specific app directories again and again. So these three app pillars are very much explained on this particular URL, web.dev/progressive web app. If you go over there, and you'll get a chance to learn a lot of other things about these app pillars, and why PWA trying to minimize that gap, and how it helps you. The second part of this is how it's done, like what sort of things you need to do in order to make your application a PWA compatible. So it's done through this manifest.json, and I'll get a little bit brief into that, how manifest works, and what sort of things we have in manifest.json. So these are the some of properties which we use in manifest.json. So sort name or and name, I mean, you can provide with both of them, but a sort name or and name any one of them is required. So this will be pretty much the name of your application, which is going to be seen in your app icon and drawer, and specific other places where your app gonna opens. Icons, you have to specify certain icons in order to get started with those specific identifier of your app icon, where it's going to be installed, or either it's a taskbar icon, or wherever you're going to use that PWA. These icons will be pretty much visible. The start URL is pretty similar as its name. Like, it tells you that what would be the URL when your app is getting started on the first screen. The background color is the splash color which will get. So mostly we'll set it to white. Display is another property where you can set that what mode you want your app to be displayed, like either similar to a browser, either in a similar to a shell, or either in full screen, whatever you can mention over there. A typical manifest.json looks like this. If you see that this is similarly I have built for the web app which we are creating since day one, and these are all those specific numbers and all. And and the second thing to make a PWA success is service worker. So what a service worker is, it's just a JavaScript file. We call it service worker.js or sw.js in most cases. It runs in the browser, so you don't have to be available on that particular web page or web URL all the time to make that particular file run. It's done and handled through the background services. uh, it can get you push notification which have it have access. It can help you to do background sync, like suppose you are building a specific PWA which lets user reads news, and each time a new news comes in, and your users are not on their specific web page, what you can do is you can just use this big background sync feature and fetch the news from the server and put into your storage, and whenever user come back to your app, they can get that news available immediately without going onto the network. And this background sync also help to support some of these edge cases for offline use cases, like if a user doesn't have a network the time he's trying to access the app, you can pretty much check whenever the user gets the network access, and you can use this background sync feature to get the information from the server, and then pretty much display what sort of information you want to display. The next thing is a life cycle of a service worker. So it's get started with a plain JavaScript file, and then it's get installed on the browser. So after installing, it's gonna have two specific state: either it's activated or either it's error. Like if there is some specific script error while the installation is going on, then it's gonna throw an error and stop the script over there. But if it's not having any error, then the activation phase is gonna come in, and after activation it sits idle until unless either it's not terminated, or either you are not doing some specific activity like fetching a message, or maybe listening for a push notification, or doing a background sync, whatever things you want to do. So this is a typical overall very high level life cycle of a typical service worker. And to use that service worker and install it, what we do is we just do a feature check first, either service worker is available in navigator or not, and after that we'll just install that script. So if you see here, I'm just using navigator.serviceworker.register, and then whatever the service worker file I have, and then I'm registering it, and this registration gonna have two specific callback. One is going to be the successful one, like after the service worker is registered successfully, you're gonna have the scope, that what sort of scope that service worker gonna have. And then if registration failed, then you have the error message that why this service worker registration is failed. And all these things we can do in Angular using very streamlined command called ng-add@angular/pwa. And I didn't understand that. And what this particular command gonna do is it's add the Angular service worker, which is a package developed by Angular team in your Angular app. It's also going to enable the service worker to have a build support in CLI. So each time you're gonna build your application for production, your service worker will also getting built with that. It's also going to import and register the service worker in app module. So if you go in your app module after running this command and check, there would be a specific module imported for this service worker specifically. It's also going to update your index.html file for manifest and theme color. So that manifest file I mentioned earlier, that you have to link in your index.html, or maybe in other frameworks and library on your index file actually. It's also install the icons, files, and support, which gonna be installable PWA. So icons will require will be handy when you're going to install and put that particular application onto your home screen and stuff like that. And it's also create a service worker configuration file, which called ngsw-config.json, and this will help you to put all those files and all those specific rules around how you want what sort of things you want to get stored, what sort of things you want to get cached, what sort of things you want to fetch when network is not available, and stuff like that. What the strategies you actually going to follow, those specific things will be here. So rather than just talking about all those specific points, let me show you the in the code and how it's done. So so going back to my code, yeah. So this is the application which we have taken and left from day one end, and now I'm just going to check out a new branch, which I call day two. And then in this branch, what I'll do is I'll just run that particular command, ng-add @angular slash pwa. You also have some other parameters to this command, like hyphen project, and then your project name. But as we only have one project in this particular application, we don't have to do that particular thing. So let's wait till it's actually going to done, and I also start my server in the background. So as it's installing packages, let me go you through that what sort of changes it's actually done. So the first change it's done in this, like it's created this manifest file, and if you see this manifest file, it have all those properties which I was referring earlier, and it have these icons and all other those things over here. It's also it's the package JSON. If you check, it's also added a specific package called this angular slash service worker. So this package which help you to build the service worker, import the service worker, and also provide you the service worker module in your app. And if we go on asset directory and if we check on this added a lot of icons which I mentioned. So we'll be replacing these icons because this is the general icon which it's created by default. So I'll be replacing it with the actual Pokemon ball icon later on. And in the index.html, if you check, it's have this two specific things added extra. This is manifest file, and this is the theme color which I mentioned in the slides. And then if you go on app module, you can see that this Angular service worker imported the service worker module and added this particular module directly here with the service worker file name, and enable that where the service worker is pretty much enabled. So this only enables in production mode. So all we have to do is we have to build this after this installer is done. And meanwhile, if I little bit go and explain this ngsw config file. So if you check this particular file, what it have is it have one a specific assets group, which tells you that what sort of assets you have and what sort of assets you are going to prefetch. And that is where all those files and their parameters comes in. Like I'm asking this particular service worker to prefetch a favicon .ico, index.html, the manifest file, all the css and all the js files. And similarly, I'm also maintaining some lazy load prefetch over here, specifically on the assets folder, like images, fonts, and all these extension will be available as a lazy load. And this is a typical way to add schema to your JSON file, which which we use as a JSON LD here, and this is a schema.json which is available inside the service worker package, which is actually installing. So if we come here and if I reload this, I think it's not working. Okay, Angular service worker package is not installed yet. Yeah, I know, the demos are pretty much live demos are pretty much risky, but I'm taking that risk anyways. It should not. I mean, in Angular, adding those specific supports like PWA service worker is very easy. As you can see, I have to run that one specific command, and everything is which is required to make this particular web app as a PWA is already done. All I am doing is just waiting this to finish. Yeah, it's actually finished. So now we can build this, and we can see it's running. So as I'm currently doing it on a specific serve way, which means that it's going to open a dev server, and in dev environment the service worker will not be available because in our file, if you come to this app module, what we have did is we have mentioned that we only want this service worker to be enabled when we have the environment and a production. So let's first show you that where this what actually mean about that. So as of now, it's not a PWA, it's a simple plain web. You don't see any install or anything else coming on here. So what I'll do is I'll just kill that server, and I'll just, yeah. So as you can see on the screen, I'm just rebuilding this application because I have added all those specific script. So let's the build get done. Okay, this is gonna take a while. So meanwhile, what I can do is so this will build because we have our app module on a service set up in a way that it only displays when you have this production environment. So I'm just rebuilding that application to work to generate these specific production files, and after that I'll show you that what sort of application files and what sort of folders it's actually get generated into this dist folder. So it should be done quickly. Production build does take a while in any specific frameworks because it's had to do a lot of optimization, lots of chunks creation, and then tensor plugin take a little while because it's also need to optimize your build in various aspects and various factors. So after this done, you'll see a folder in here which gonna contains all those specific files. Yes, it's done, and now as we can see that this all files is actually generated here. Here our service worker file, which have all those specific rules which we have defined into the configuration. And if we go here, because now I have started a Chrome web server, and that web server is pretty much running on port 888 If I go and reload this page, what I can see is I have this application installable. So I'll not install it right now, but what I'll do is I'll just replace the icons because these are the icons which comes by default. So I'll replace the icons first. So I'm just copying some predefined icons, and maybe paste it into my icons directory, which is here. So you see all these icons which just added. So what I'll do is I'll just copy the icons which I already have created in these specific sizes into this particular folder and replace it. Okay, I have to do individually. And this should be replace all somewhere, but anyways, so now you see that I've replaced that Angular icon with this Pokemon ball. And I also wanted, because if I go here and check into this particular application tab, which have my BEM manifest and service worker available. And if I go on network tab, I don't know, it gets freezing, it's get frozen, I guess, again. The Chrome dev tools get frozen again. So if I go on network and try to do offline, what I'll do is what I'll see is that everything else works except that API call, because that API call we have not cached yet. If you see here, it doesn't return the way it's supposed to. So what I'll do is I'll add that into my NWS config to cache the APIs as well. And this is very quick. I'm just copying and paste some information, and so I'll explain it. So this is an so as of now we only had this asset group. Now we have this data groups, and these data groups. What I'm mentioning is I have this a name, which is a specific name for this particular data groups, that what this is actually done, and then I have I have a URL which I wanted to get cache, and this is the cache config. What cache config does is it's asked you that what strategy you want to cache it to be done, and here I'm using performance. So which mean if there would be a network, then the network first strategy gonna come. If there is not be network, then definitely that would be from the cache. And then max size, what is the maximum size of cache you want to allow, and then max says, so I'm putting a 3 day. And after doing all these, what I have to do is, because I'm running here on a build, so what I have to do is I have to rebuild the application again. So I'll just do that quickly. And once that application is built, I'll this API will also be cached, and in this particular screen, what we'll see is we'll see the Pokemon and their names and other parts in an offline mode as well. So waiting for this build to be finished. And all these things and all these things we can see is done just by running one specific command, ng add angular. And that is how this whole Angular ecosystem is like. If you want to add SSR, if you want to add PWA, if you want to add server side rendering, or maybe Angular universal and stuff like that, it's very easy to do that, because this Angular CLI is very powerful. And okay, so I think our build is done. What I can do is I can just refresh this particular page. And as you can see, that first thing what I have done is I have changed that icon. So now if I install my icon gonna be that. And if I go on this network tab, and okay, let me reload it again. If I go to on that network tab and then try to do offline, what I can see is that our application works pretty much fine. So I have cached that API request, and the next thing what I can do is I can take back it online, and then what I can do is I can install it. Once I install it, what you will see is you will see this app over there. So this is an app running into a shell, which is app shell, and it works pretty much similar like you have other apps. Like I have VS Code installed and Chrome installed. Similarly, I have this DevFest India WebTrack demo also installed. So if you see that it works pretty much similarly like an app, and I can go and open and perform all those things. And as we have also made this Pokemon responsive, so there can be other screens and other places it will be supported. And similarly, if we want to uninstall it from here, what we can do is we can go and we can do just uninstall devfest. It's gonna go to the confirm and also ask you if you want to clear all those data which this application is stored or not, and you can remove it. So 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 that's all for the demo. And in this, what we have learned so far is like how we can make an Angular app into a PWA with just one single line and adding one data groups. And apart from that, we have also learned that how easy and how quickly that application on a PWA becomes in a way that where we can install it on a desktop or a mobile and start using it. And also this helps you to understand a little bit about API caching and resource caching, just pre-caching. For more details, you can go and learn about on web.dev about all these specific individual phenomenal. I have shared that link earlier in the presentation. And that's all. And next, Brizraj will be showing you all those aspects of SEO and how you can get started with. So over to you, Brizraj.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok. Hi, everyone. So, as of now, we have developed the website and we want to rank them higher on a Google search result or any other search engine. So, uh, so we need to focus on SEO part. So let's start introduction about the SEO. Actually, what is a SEO? So SEO stand for search engine optimization. Basically, it's a best practices how we can increase the quality and quantity of the traffic in your website on the with the help of organic search result. Short, like it is a part of unpaid marketing of your website. And basically, in the part in a SEO, you have to work on meta tags. So meta tags provide information about the web pages, like the property, the type of information they deliver. So search engines such as Google, Bing, or any other search engine uses metadata from the meta tags to understand the additional information about the web page. They can use the information for ranking purpose and show the result on the search engine or search results. So, like if I talk about meta tags, there are a lot of meta tags. For example, title tags specify the title of your web page, or we can say title tags are display on search engine result as a title. You can add a meta description tag. It's a 160 character code snippet or used to summarize the web page content. And search engines sometimes use these tag, meta description tag, in search result to let visitor to know more about the description of the website. So also there are some set of specific meta tags for the social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, or any other platform. So with that, you can generate rich content in Facebook while you're sharing the website or web pages, like card on Facebook post. So like you can add title, description, card image, and the links. Same for the Twitter. Look at this image. Here you can add the title, description, card image, and the link and the preview on Twitter. And also you can experience, like you can add additional functionality to your web page to uh, add some rich result. So you can also provide standardized information about the web page and classify the content. For that, you need to use structured data that's enable spatial search on the result. Okay, so let's start the demo part, how we can add meta tags in our and Angular application. This is the Angular application, and we have called Pokemon APIs to show the details. So there is a list of Pokemon. So whenever I click on this Pokemon, we got the details. So we need to add meta tags. How we can add meta tags in Angular application? So this is my Angular application, and just I open a component for Pokemon details. So we need to import a module for SEO. So there is a module. So we are adding title and meta module. So first, and then we have to define the parameter. So in the constructor, I have defined the parameter, uh, title and meta. So now after getting a data from the APIs or a services, so this is the data I'm getting. So this is a JavaScript object for adding a title, uh, meta title. So there is a title dot set title method. So we need to pass result dot name, which is defined by Pokemon name. Similarly, we can update the description. Just we need to use update tag method, and we have to pass JavaScript object. And there is a key value pair. So we have a key name and description is a as a value. And similarly, you can implement social media tags for the Facebook. For example, we can add the type. We can add the type of the Facebook card, and similarly, we can update the site name. We can add the title of that particular card. We can add the description, and we can also add the image of particular card. So, adding an image. So we have defined a JavaScript variable in a let. So my variable name is image. So I have defined a base variable, base path for the image, and then just I'm passing the image ID of my Pokemon, and then there is an extension of file name. So .png. So I'm just adding call it add this variable. So now I have to define a URL. So I have add URL. So similarly, we can add a URL. So there is a variable URL. So Windows dot location dot uh, href. So from this code, it will card on a Facebook. So whose title is Pokemon name and description is Pokemon details. And similarly, we can have a image of that particular Pokemon. So once we click on the URL or a card, so there will be a URL. So you will be redirected to this URL. Similarly, you can implement Twitter card. So we can add a card, we can define a card, and then we can define a website title. And similarly, we can define a title for the Twitter card, and we can add a description, and also we can add the image for the Twitter card. So once we save and then just reload this page. So uh, yeah, so these are the meta tag default. So once I click on this Pokemon, so the details is updated. Now click on this and change to this one. Details is updated. So that's how we have added the meta text for the SEO purpose, like social media. We have implemented Facebook, Twitter, and we have added the general meta tag like title property and description properties. So back to the slide. Next, next slide. I cannot change the slide. Okay, so there is an alternative way you can implement meta tags or SEO in Angular. You can go for this SSR, which means server side rendering. So with the help of SSR, you can pre-render your HTML or your views. Like Angular is working on same application. So we have a concept of Angular SSR, or we can say Angular Universal. So with the help of Angular Universal, you can easily implement SEO, and also you can go for Rendertron library, which is defined by the Google team. You can use easily. Next slide. So thank you so much. So overall, we have defined how we can create a PWA, how we can push notification, how we can add service workers, uh, how we can generate a desktop PWA installable web application. Then we have defined like how we can add meta text in our Angular application. So thank you.